Hi, welcome to another episode of Campus to Careers. And today I have with me Vivek. And Vivek has been a student from Swinburne and he finished his master's in engineering. I've known Vivek for quite some time and I have the pleasure of interviewing him today. Welcome to Campus to Careers, Vivek. And tell us a little bit about you, your academics background, career, all of that.
Hi everyone, this is Vivek. Thank you again for inviting me on this episode. I actually came to Australia in August 2019. So I did my masters in advanced manufacturing technology at Swinburne University. I graduated in the year 2021, and I'm looking for a job. So Pfizer has been mentoring me for like one and a half year, close to 2 years now, and it's been a really long journey, but she's positive and I'm positive enough for now to
Yeah.
get that role. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thanks, Vivek. And Vivek's field of expertise, mechanical engineering,
Yeah,
is that
mechanical
correct?
engineering.
Yeah, so it's been very interesting to getting to know a lot of projects that Vivek's been part of and contractual work as well so
Yes.
far. So, very talented. And I must add that we are having coffee at Salam by Mariana, which is in Port Melbourne, and it's a beautiful cafe. Highly recommend it again. And we're about to test out their coffee too. So, speaking of coffee, Vivek, tell me if you could describe your university experience in Australia with a coffee order. What would it be?
That's a tricky question, but
Yeah.
I think just go for a normal black coffee. But if you
As in
talk
like a long black?
a long black, yeah. If you want to ask me about my experience in Australia, I think Australia was different because it was before COVID. I just went to my university for like one semester, and remaining semesters were online, so it wasn't much of a uni going experience. But still, those 6 months I did enjoy my uni because one of my friends back in India, he was my batchmate, Gautam. He was actually studying in Swinburne as well. He was my one semester senior, and he actually told me about the idea of going to Australia. So
That's amazing. So, coming back to the coffee order, so it's a long black because it has been a long journey for you, and
long
it
journey, yes.
started in COVID. There has been a lot of twists and turns.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, amazing. Thank you for that. What was your first thought when you had your first interview in Australia for any role that is casual, part time? What were your first thoughts?
Well, I've also worked in India at Accenture Technologies as well, so I thought it might be something similar to that, but over here the interview style is different. They ask you like generic questions and questions about. It's mostly based on personality, not based on behavior.
Skills.
It's
Yeah.
mostly behavioral skills. Yeah, it's not based on academics or something like that. So it was nice because you could get to know the person, and it's an easier way to sort of getting to know the company better in their perspective. So that is more important because back in India, it's like it's more based on academics, and they ask you like different scenarios and all that. So it's nice to know that it's not over here.
Yeah, it is more not theory based. Obviously, it is about your academics, but more so that how you deal in a work environment. Basically, yeah, absolutely. What's the most funniest or unexpected reality shock that you've had whilst working or studying in Australia?
I think the first reality shock is probably the rental market for international students because we didn't know about it. We thought of course it's definitely going to get expensive, but it just skyrocketed after COVID. So that was a bit of a culture shock. Other than that, it's I've grown up in a city life, so
Yeah.
just a few different things here and there, but it's similar. Yeah.
So ultimately, because we are residing in CBD or inner city suburbs,
Yeah.
it's even harder. So that's a good thought or feedback from you. That's unexpected, and if you were to relocate, say remote Australia or regional, that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
isn't
have
it?
been.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Now, moving on to some academics and career insights questions. So, how different was it studying in Australia as compared to back home?
Well, I think back home you had timelines for assignments, and every week you had tests and everything that they want to. I mean, mostly test your patience, but over here it's not the scenario. Over here it's more about practical knowledge. I'm not saying that's not there back in India, but it's more theoretical based. Over here, it's mostly about practical knowledge and getting to know the machines better, operating on them, and that's more like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So experience
Yeah.
based, yeah,
Experience based.
yeah. Especially in your field of study, being mechanical engineering, that would be, yeah, absolutely. And if you could change one thing about how international students are supported, what would it be?
And that's a tricky question as well because I don't want to offend anyone.
You won't.
So I think if I'm looking for support, I think it would be about the university because there should be like a university union sort of thing for all I understand there's actually one union, but they can't cater to each and every one. So I
Yeah.
think more people should come up in the international student community and form more groups and support each other like that. I think in a way that since we are from different nationalities, people tend to take it lightly and step back and not try to communicate much. So I think that should change, and I think we are in a different country, and you need to get out of that box and try to be as liberal as possible. that's
Yeah.
that's that's my thought.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So you're saying they are supported, however, there should be a lot more support within the international student
Yes.
community for that regard. Okay, thank you for your feedback. What's one skill that you've learned in Australia that will help you throughout your career?
I think multitasking.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to multitask back in India. I was completely focused on one thing, and only after completing that thing I moved on to the next. But over here, trying to do odd jobs, multitasking, managing uni, managing work, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But that's probably the biggest thing that I've uh, learned over here:
Yeah.
the ability to multitask. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whilst you are, doing your own cooking, cleaning,
Yeah, of course.
studying, and part-time work, or working on assignments. So it's all about that multitasking. So that's amazing. Thank you for that. Now, moving on to some SWOT style questions around your strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. What's your biggest strength that you've discovered while studying in Australia, and further to while working in Australia?
You know, if I could just tell a small story about my personality. So I was actually born in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So my parents are actually from Kerala in India. So to just for basic survival, I needed to speak a different language. So I had to learn the basics. Of course, I cannot write it properly because it was not taught to me in school. But just to go out and grab some groceries or something like that, I had to speak a different language. So I think that made me a little bit more resilient and more into learning different things and trying to adapt to new environments. That's probably my greatest strength, adaptability. And I think even being a polyglot in India, back in India, I think I know like 5 to 6 different languages. So I like to say that I don't know if it counts as a skill or something, but yes, that's
Yeah.
probably one of my biggest strengths.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Vivek. So, what I'm hearing is your ability to speak different languages became your strength whilst, you've been studying here, and that brought you out more as, you're talking to different people, and your work environment as well. So,
Yes.
that's very interesting. And what's one challenge or weakness you faced as an international student, and how did you overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge that I faced was not getting my desired job. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so that's probably the biggest challenge that I'm facing right now. But Initially, the first year, I mean, once I graduated in 2021 June, I was adamant on getting a job, and I couldn't work it out for another year. So for 1 year, I didn't get any interviews. But from the period of June 2022 to 2023 June, I got like three interviews, and I was taken aback because I think I approached it in a different way. But rather than coping up, I think I got used to the environment being like that, and it's always challenging. I mean, it's not easy to get a job in Australia, but you should also give credit to the recruiters as well, because they are looking out for the roles, but maybe you're not the right candidate at that right point of time. So I think I'm just coping up with it by trying to make a better profile, upgrade my skills, try to learn different softwares.
Join my program.
Yeah, join your program, of course.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I'm hearing is, Vivek, is the challenges has been around obviously securing a professional role in your desired field for international students, but at the same time, what you are also saying has been a weakness and you have actually overcome is
Yes.
having that no or a reflection back on how did this interview go, or a rejection. So that's amazing, and you're building on it. And you've just told me that you have done your internship.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. And you have secured contractual work,
Yeah.
whilst you're also sitting a few interviews next week.
Yes.
That is amazing. That is great to hear. Thank you so much. And what opportunities do you see for international students in Australia?
I think not about the current mechanical engineering spectrum, but mostly towards the information technology and medical. I think it's a wonderful world over here. I've met like hundreds of people who have gotten their desired roles, really dreamy roles. I mean, uh, dream packages, all sorts of perks. But you know, it's a really good market for information technology and medical, provided that you have the right amount of skills. I think this is probably the market. But you know, even from a mechanical engineering point of view, I think it's still a really good environment over here, because if you look at the different manufacturing companies over here, they mostly manufacture everything locally, and they do have renewable energy projects. So it's a huge spectrum, but it's all about where do you want to fit in
Exactly. And what's best for you as
and
well.
what's best for you.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you for that. And lastly, what threats or challenges do you think international students should be prepared for or need to be prepared for?
I think it's actually a very personal thing, and it changes from person to person, because I'm nobody to give advice to people, but everyone has a different
And,
journey.
and people can learn from
And people,
your
of course, people can
experience.
learn from my experience as well. But I think if you have made your decision to come to Australia and study and probably try to find work, you're just trying to just don't try to overcomplicate it. You're going to learn in every step. So just don't try to be too careful about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just try to be as natural as possible. Just let things work, and don't try to build your expectations, or um, you lower your expectations. Just try to be normal. You're just going to a different country, that's it.
Yeah.
It's just
Good country.
a good country. And so of course you will face challenges about trying to balance your uni, your work, and everything. But it's just that you do have this in your hand. I mean,
Yeah.
you got this, because you're trying to go to a different country and study over here. It itself is a huge challenge.
Yes.
So when you've taken that decision, I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
you need to work on it.
Yeah.
And as the famous cricketer Mr. Mahendra Singh Dhoni said, um, just try to focus on the process, not the result.
I love that. Focus on the process, not the result.
result.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So what I hear is, in terms of threats, is don't overcomplicate.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, just go with the flow. So that's great advice, golden advice from Vivek. Lastly, some questions around aspirations and messages. So, in terms of where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a really tough question because every year is a different experience altogether. But I would like to, try to find work in mechanical engineering spectrum, regardless of any industry that it might be in, like manufacturing or renewable energy, anything like that. It doesn't depend on the company, but I would like to be in a position where I can provide my point of view and try to make the workplace better, and try to bring in creativity and of course
Ideas.
upgrade my new skills as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that you've got that innovation spirit, right? So basically, you want to be part of a team where you can grow that through your learning and experience, but at the same time, be the player that is always looking out there, right, for the next step. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. What advice would you give to students considering coming to Australia now? So they're back home and they're thinking of coming to Australia.
I think first advice would be to research, try to find different contacts on LinkedIn who are actually working in the
Yeah.
Australian businesses or anything like that. But
Yeah.
just try to reach out to them and know the current situation, because the market is ever evolving.
Yeah.
So you don't know when you might land an opportunity. So try to research as much as possible, and
And research on different states as well, right?
different
Yeah.
states as well, because now it's initially it used to be different because people used to live in the cities, but now people are moving to the regional areas in Australia
Exactly.
as well. So regional areas do have different opportunities in their councils, and that's what I hear.
Absolutely.
And I think that would probably be my advice, as research as much as possible before coming here.
Yeah. And there is university campuses in a lot of regional areas,
Yes.
depending on what you're studying. So that research is really critical too,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. Because you get a lot more time to study and explore, regional Australia. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And final round question. So, if you could send one message to Australian employers or recruiters, what would it be?
I think the one message that I would give the Australian employers would be to not look about the visa scenarios, and look for the right candidate, because the visa scenario is, it's an ever evolving situation as well, because you know people might end up getting a visa, people might end up extending their visas as well. So what they're looking
Experience.
for is the experience and the right candidate as well,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there might be a deserving candidate, but he might have like 3 months of visa left, but you can still count on him because he's the deserving candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that. And this is literally, Vivek, I'm hearing it so much now that after that academic experience in an Australian university, you need that Australian employment or that professional experience. And you may decide to, go outside Australia, take that experience, but that visa restrictions or working rights or, how you can secure that role beyond that is a big challenge, isn't it? So, absolutely look at the skill set and the candidate. So, thank you for that. And if you had a chance to sit down with the Australian government or decision makers for 5 minutes, what would you like to ask them or feedback?
So my message to the Australian government would be just to try to upgrade the immigration system, because there are different types of visas, and most of the people who are ending up getting a visa are from abroad as well. If you look at the current scenario in the past 2 3 years, the people who have stayed here locally, they haven't gotten a chance to get an invitation because they don't have Australian work experience. But that changes when a person is from a different country and they have like 5 years of experience. But I think the person who's staying here, paying taxes over here locally, trying to find their own way, I think they should probably get the upper edge over the person who actually is nothing wrong in that. But it's just that if the person staying over here has an upper edge, because they're paying taxes, they're paying all sorts of things,
Student
they
fees,
student
international
fees,
student
international
fees
students,
is
yeah,
the biggest thing, I think, isn't
exactly,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like upgradation, probably different pathways for engineering, for medical, for IT. I think that would be if you could streamline that, it would be an easier process.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. This is amazing because what I'm hearing is what you're saying is anyone coming from an experience of 5 years externally are given a upper hand or a priority as opposed to someone who's already studied here for 3 years, finished their masters, may or may not have the experience. So that experience level needs to firstly ease
Exactly.
up, and
Yeah.
then for that candidate who's been studying here to then work here, and then they may decide to stay forever or go back home.
Exactly.
That's another thing, but there should be that pathway to all of this
All of
in
this, yes.
transition. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. This is great advice and great chat as well, and I love your viewpoint on so many things, and you're such a hard worker, by the way, Vivek. Can I just kudos to you on all your willpower and every day. And I remember speaking to you every now and then, and you're doing something, you're trying something, you're meeting people, networking, sitting down interviews. You've done so many like courses, and I've got such a great friend network as well. So that's amazing, and we're learning from each other like this on a daily basis, right? So thank you so much for taking the time, having a chat with me at on this beautiful day at Salam. That was a bit unusual, but great, great cafe and great advice from you. So thank you for making it for us, for me, for you, and for Campus to Careers. Would you like to say any thank you round offs?
Yep. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the coffee as well. And so I think I'm looking forward to the next episode of Campus to Careers.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, thank you for your time. So tune in for next time for another episode of Campus to Careers. Ciao.